I want to talk about pulling yourself up from the depths. No matter who you are, no matter where you were born, no matter whether your parents were rich or poor, whether or not you were given all the love, support, development that you needed, or whether it's been a struggle from birth just to breathe. We've all had incidents where our resolve has been tested, where everything that we knew, everything that we stand for is being called into question. And there's a couple of things that I've noticed, because I've been at this point multiple times in my life where I feel like the pendulum has swung so far to one side, and I know that it's a pendulum. It has to swing the other way. I know that things will get better, but I just can't see it right now. I've had plenty of those moments, and there's a couple of things that I really want to highlight. The first one that's coming to me when you're beginning to pull yourself up from the depths is understand that this is a inside job. Pulling yourself up from the depths is an inside job. Now, the world is going to let you know that it's an inside job, but I'm going to let you know first. What do I mean by it being an inside job? I mean, if you're going to get pulled up from the depths, it's not going to be anything outside of you that does it. It's going to be an active decision that you make to change yourself. Whatever form that change takes place, that can be debated. But as far as the actual change happening, it's going to be you. It's going to be you. It's going to be you making a decision, taking consistent action towards that decision. Now, I said that the world's going to let you know that it's an inside job. This is a couple of ways that the world will let you know that it's an inside job. You will see outside of you people that reflect your internal state of being. Whatever it is, wherever it is that you want to go, you'll see people who are there. Now, if you have not been resolute in understanding who you are and directing your intention and your awareness towards creating your reality, you may see these people who are where you are and believe that they've shown up to be a hand for you. And in some cases, that may be the case. They may show up to be a guide for you. But that's not always the case. That's not always the situation. So you may be thinking that, and it may be coming from a lack of confidence in your personal ability to be whoever it is that you believe yourself to be. And in turning to these people, you'll find very quickly that they're very willing to swat you down and remind you that you're not who you think you are, which can be extremely discouraging, right? But what did I say? It's an inside job. So we talk about occupying a certain state until you see the fruit of that state begin to manifest in your reality. Meaning, you need to think you are a thing before this outside world begins to represent the fact that you are that thing. Now, seeing someone who already occupies that state may make you believe that in this 3D world, they're there to help you, which is, like I said, can be the case, but in the event that it is not the case, this is the lesson that you can take from that. Look at the I am in them. Their I am has occupied a state that has presented fruit in this 3D reality. The inside job is to look at yourself and see, what does it look like for you to occupy that state? No, not being a caricature of that person. What does it look like for you in your uniqueness to occupy a state? What would that state look like outpictured on you? Now, when you're pulling yourself up from the depths and you're looking around you at all of the different people that show up in your world, or that your awareness has called into your world, and you see people who are occupying the state that you want, and you're going through the motions, maybe they're helping you, maybe they're not. It is an inside job. You see the state that you want to occupy. What is the first thing that you should do to pull yourself out of the depths? A lot of times we think that because we may know a bit about law of attraction, we may know a bit about thinking positively, or thinking that, like, whatever the case may be, we may know a bit about our thoughts creating this reality. It can be easy for us to think that you need to make some drastic overnight shift. And in some cases, yeah, you'll be capable of making a drastic overnight shift. But in a lot of cases, if you do make some sort of drastic overnight shift, you lack the energy to maintain it beyond a certain time frame. So an alternative that I'd like to suggest to you is, you're going to see the state that you would like to occupy outpictured in your reality, meaning you're going to see other souls who are occupying a similar state. It may not be your exact state, but it'll be something similar, right? Your job is simply to pay attention to the anchors that they've dropped. And if you've watched my videos, then you know I talk a lot about anchors. And I don't talk about anchors in regards to something holding you to your previous reality, although we talked about them in that regard. The regard that I'm talking about anchors to now is dropping the anchors that lead you towards your ideal reality. So just like there can be anchors in your life that tie you to a previous state, like you go around certain friends who remember you a certain way and now you're acting that way, right? The people who you changed, you lost weight and they're still calling you fat, right? Those old anchors who you need to get away, because the thought forms that they're sending to you are disrupting your state of being, right? So we talk about anchors that tie you to previous states. In this case, what anchors has the soul who's occupying the state that you would like to outpicture on yourself, that garment that you would like to wear yourself, right? What are the anchors tied to that state? Because I guarantee you, there's certain habitual behavior that naturally leads to that state. Meaning, you don't occupy that state without passing through the actions or behaviors necessary, right? You can call it the 10,000 hours of mastery, but it's not necessarily mastery over a thing that we're trying to obtain when we're talking about creating our reality. So the anchors are not necessarily tied towards learning some skills. It's what needs to happen daily in order for one day you to wake up and everything around you be about that state that you're occupying. Meaning, and to break it down even further, who do you need to be so that no matter where you are, no matter who you're running into, all people see on you is that state that you occupy, because everything that you do stems from that state that you occupy. Now, whatever it is that you're trying to bring into your world, I guarantee you there are habitual things that act as anchors that will literally lead you to that. And you probably know what they are, because a lot of times we know what we need to do to get where we need to go. Talking about it in like this may help you to break through that procrastination and actually start to make the changes necessary for you. Because if you understand that one way or another, every day, you're dropping an anchor towards a reality, or you're allowing certain anchors tying you towards a reality that you don't like to continue to remain. Being aware of what you're tied to, being aware of where it is, what you're doing, means that you can direct your awareness towards tasks, activities that properly align with where it is you're trying to go. Now, pulling yourself up from the depths, you've seen the state that you're trying to occupy. You've identified what anchors are necessary to just ride it out. So you create the behavior. We're all obsessed with something. Some of us is hating our work, right? There's something that we all have to do every day. You've identified that thing that you have to do every day in order for your reality to become true in you, right? What's the next step? The next step is just a small step. That's it. It's easy. The next step is a small step. All you need to do is do something that confirms to yourself that you are in that state. Now, it does not have to be perfect. You don't need to demonstrate mastery at this point. What you simply need to do, and it can be something as simple as, for lack of a better word, like a ritual, right? Where you're doing a thing that you only do because you know that your ideal reality has occurred, right? So I'll put it in a case when I had this point and I had not posted a video in years. You're a content creator, right? Meaning that you post videos in your ideal reality, meaning that the anchor to that reality is the posting of content, right? It doesn't have to be great, that small step, but you need to arrange the atoms in the manner that they need to be arranged. You need to direct your energy towards what it is that you want in a small way so that you have a solidified memory of that. Now, I gave the example of content creation, but you can fill in the blank with whatever it is that you want, wherever it is that you're going. Take the small step that confirms that you are in that state doing what it is that you want, right? And now, after you've taken that small step, it can be a symbolic, right? It can be a symbolic arrangement of atoms. Just something enough to create the memory that you can manipulate. Because this is going back, and now we're going to manipulate the memory. Manipulate our own memory, not anybody else's, right? So you've taken the small step, whatever that is. Could be filing for your LLC. And now you can sit down and think about all the fact that you already have it, or you're in your business, right? It can be buying a makeshift plastic ring and putting it on that finger, symbolizing that, yep, you're occupying that state of being a wife, or you're occupying that state of being a husband, or whatever for your partner. It can be the PJs for your newborn that you purchase because you know that your goal is to expand your family. Look, that small step is whatever arrangement of atoms allows you to create the memory that you can then manipulate. And this is how we manipulate the memory, right? So let's say in the idea of content creation, you take that small step and you don't have all of the skills necessary, right? You don't have them yet. You know, in your ideal reality, you have them. You understand that the anchor is taking that continuous action towards it, right? You understand that. But with that small step, you're not judging yourself. With that small step, you're not beating yourself down for not being perfect. With that small step, you're not expecting mastery. You go into the silence now. You've taken that small step. You go into the silence now. And you revise the memory. You expand the memory. You chop it. You edit it however you need it to be. You extrapolate that memory over 5, 10 years of repeated small steps. You know what it's like to take that small step now. You know what that feeling is. Feel it again and again and again. Let that feeling grow and grow and grow within you. See yourself taking larger and larger steps. See your steps expanding. See the complexity of whatever it is that you're doing expanding. So you're trying to expand your family. You started out by simply buying some cute little PJs for the little one that you have. And maybe you're not set on whether or not it's a boy or a girl yet. So you buy a set of pink ones and you buy a set of blue ones. So now you know what it feels like to purchase something for your newborn, right? So you go into the silence and you expand on that. You see yourself doing a major shop. You see yourself picking up all of the necessities, or you see yourself dusting off the old things that you've had because your kids are older, whatever the case may be. You expand on the arrangement of atoms that you created, that spark that you created, that you generated, that thought form that you originated. You expand on it. You make this world so real to you, and you do it by tying yourself to that anchor that you just dropped, by taking a small step. Now, in the midst of this, in the midst of creating this world in the silence, you don't stop taking small steps. That's the key here. You do not stop taking small steps. You get more intentional about the small steps that you take. Meaning, you don't take large pivot steps. You take direct steps. And when a path opens up that is a direct avenue to where it is that you want to go, you don't shy away from that door. You walk through it understanding that you called it to you. And the test is for you to accept and acknowledge that this is where you want to be. Look, pulling yourself up from the depths, it's not necessarily hard. Although, when you're occupying a state of defeat, when you're occupying a state of shame, when you're occupying a state of guilt, worry, of lack, it can appear hard because that state is draped over you, right? You're wearing it like the skin on your bones. And as a result, it acts as a slide. It's a lens that you view your world through. And that lens is a filter that only allows light frequencies through. So yeah, it can be difficult if you're choosing to look at your world through the slide that was created by the defeats you've experienced. But at any given point in time, you are in control of your mental state. And if nobody's ever told you that before, let me tell you it now. You are in control of your mental state. You can direct it however it is that you see fit. Now, I didn't intend for this video to be this long, but I really, really hope that you got something out of this. Maybe I'll do a part 2. Continue this, pulling yourself from the depths. I love you, whoever you are. I want to see the fullest expression of you, whatever that is. This is the spark.